again. Today, featuring two stars. Two stars, well, from the same nest, so to say. Today I want to talk with you about the simpler cameras and the affordable cameras. I've made a few videos on alternatives for the Olympus OM1. Now I want to show you and other enthusiasts, beginners in photography, what I think is a best camera to buy when you start photographing or when you're an advanced photographer and looking for some more lenses and more possibilities in the creative field. So let's start. What is this? This, my dear friends, is a Praktica MTL5. Well, it's actually an MTL3. I will come back to that later, but here is written MTL5. But actually it's MTL3. Praktica is an SLR. It's made in the former East Germany. And they were produced, these types and other types in the same line basically, from mid-60s to early 80s, if I'm correct, late 70s. They were very solid built cameras, but very basic. They feel very, very, very thorough. They feel, it's all metal, it's quite heavy. The lenses they provided these with were very good lenses, and even now people with digital cameras buy these lenses to use them on digital cameras. This lens is all metal. It's the standard lens which was on it. It's f1.8, 50mm lens, maximum f is 16. That's about it. The camera is pretty basic to operate. Well, first of all, let's see. This is the cocking lever, and it also transports the film to the next shot. Here is the film counter, and here is the shutter release button. I find the position here very nice, better than here, to be honest. And just listen to the sound when it's really a solid click. It's like you slam the door of an old Mercedes-Benz. It really is a very, very thorough sound. The shutter is made of metal, so there's no chance you can burn little holes in it when you leave the mirror open and the lens in the sun. And for the rest, it has the basic things to make very decent pictures. Well, let's start with the lens. Of course, on top of the lens you have the aperture setting. And these lenses do tend to have two more options here, A and M. And that means that on position A, the aperture is not closed and will not close when you turn this one, but it will close when you press the shutter release button or when you press the depth of field button. And on position M, you can see immediately the effect when you change the aperture value. You can see immediately the change through the viewfinder here. So that's the lens. I mentioned this earlier. There is a light meter in this camera. It's a very simple one. It's just a needle and a little circle. When the needle is in the middle of the circle, then the combination of the aperture and the shutter speed is okay. And you activate the light meter by pressing this button. And pressing this button will also activate the aperture to the chosen value. So, light meter, that means it's battery operated. Well, the only thing that is operated in this camera is the light meter. The rest is fully mechanical. The shutter speed is fully mechanical. You set it here. You can even operate this without a light meter and still you can choose different shutter speeds and different aperture values. Now the battery is in this camera was a older mercury battery, 1.35 volts. And you see on fora that people are making little adapters with diodes in it to get it to 1.35 volts and put an LR44 in it. Don't bother, that's not necessary. You can use a hearing aid battery, and that is type 675, and it has an output voltage of 1.4 volt, so a difference of 0.05 volt, which is basically nothing. And these batteries fit in here, and when you put a little rubber washer around the battery, then it fits perfectly. So don't spend your money on expensive adapters. If you want to fit it a little bit better, then just buy a rubber washer rings, when they cost about 2 cents a piece. So that is the light meter. The light meter mechanism, the electronics behind the light meter is very simple. It's basically a bunch of resistors and variable resistors in a bridge wiring. So you know that also means that a little difference in voltage doesn't mean so much in difference of reading of this light meter. But again, you can also use it without light meter, and so shutter speed dial is here, beautiful metal. The MTL5 had it in black. I like the metal ones more, because this is a MTL3. The viewfinder, you will find a split image focusing screen for focusing. To me, that's ideal, a split image. Also, you have on top you can set the film sensitivity. It goes to well, what is it, 1600 ASA. I usually use 100 ASA films, and this setting of course influences the outread of the light meter. So once this is all set, you can start making pictures. On this lens you can see also the depth of field numbers, so you can see, like for instance on aperture 11 you get everything from, well, what is it, 2.8 meters until infinity sharp. So if you have set if it's a sunny day and you have set your aperture on 11 and the shutter speed on, for instance, 1/500, and it's okay according to the light meter, you don't have to adjust everything again and again, it's just shoot away. Anyway, so this is how they use focusing camera to estimate and to create a depth of field. It is a pretty basic camera, like I said before, and it's pretty heavy. There's nothing automatic on it. It has a self-timer. You operate like this. You shut the cocker. You cock the shutter. Sorry. And press this. It's a self-timer. It's all pure mechanical, and and here you click. It has basically the same features as the Olympus OM1. It's only a little bit bigger. I think it's about the same weight, maybe even heavier. This camera has another advantage. They made several different types which do not differ so much, and certainly do not differ in size and in materials and screws and nuts they use. They're basically interchangeable in many ways, many times. So I said this is an MTL3, and here you see the top cover of an MTL5, and that's because the original cover of the MTL3 was damaged, and I had an MTL5 for, well, it was beyond repair basically. And but I used that one for the spare parts, so I put the top cover of the MTL5 on this MTL3. Fits perfectly. I kept the original knobs of the MTL3 because I like them more, because they're chrome and not black. So they're interchangeable. To work on this camera, that's another advantage. If you You know, if you're beyond the stage of only making photographs and you want to repair cameras, these ones are also very easy to repair. If you remove this leatherette, you see 4 screws here, 2 here and 2 here. When you remove those screws, you can lift this out. Well, first of all, you have to remove the top cover. That's pretty basic to do. Once remove the top cover, unscrew here 4 screws and you can lift this complete unit out. That means the part with the mirror and the lens connection and the prism and the light meter you can take out. What is left is the transport mechanism, the cocking mechanism, this thing to adjust the shutter speed, and not unimportantly the shutter. And with this out you have complete access to all the nuts and bolts of the shutter. For cleaning, and there are people who lubricate, I never do that, but it's very accessible. Also for repairs, in that case it's very accessible. So there's also an advantage of this camera. It's easy to repair in general. There's another advantage, most of you know it, but for those who starting to use analog cameras again, this one uses lenses with M42 mount. Now, there are millions and millions of lenses with M42 mount made for different brands of cameras, for Fujica, for Yashica, for Praktica, for Pentax. Chinon, you cannot imagine how much Ricoh, you know, almost every camera SLR from the 60s and halfway 70s had an M42 mount. So there are lots of lenses and lots of beautiful lenses. Which brings me to the next subject. If you want to buy another lens for this one, like a wide angle lens, which is on this one, well, you start looking on eBay and different market sites, and then you see, well, the lenses. First, let me tell you, I paid for this complete camera 25 euros. 25 euros, it was fully working, no problems at all. I only changed the leatherette because I like this more, and the original cover was plastic and it didn't suit the camera. This camera deserves more because it's a beautiful camera. So I put this one, this leatherette on it just to improve the sight, the way it looks a little bit. So, and then you want to buy different lenses, new lenses. I started to look. I wanted to have a wide angle lenses, and then I was looking. I thought, well, it was 40, 50 euros for a wide angle lens. Okay, well, it's not very much, but given the fact that millions are being produced, I thought it was pretty expensive. Also because I had this camera with this exquisite full metal beautiful lens for 25 euros. So then I started looking at complete sets, and I found this one. And I paid 30 euros for this complete set. So I have the wide angle lens I wanted. It's a beautiful lens, and I have a body of this. In this case, the camera is the Super MTL3, which is basically, well, I didn't notice any differences, basically the same camera body as MTL3. Undoubtedly, there will be differences in those two lines, but the main parts are interchangeable, like the top cover, the knots. It also has, this one has also stop-down TTL light metering. You know, the shutter, it sounds exactly the same. The way to operate it is exactly the same. Same story here about the batteries. If you do not have the 1.35 volt batteries, you can use the cheap hearing aid batteries, the 675. They cost a fraction of the wine cells and that kind of batteries. All the cameras, both of them are also equipped with a hot shoe for a flash. So basically, in every situation, you have a perfect camera. Now, I have more Prakticas because I bought more lenses, and in every case I bought the sets. The set was cheaper than a lens or a body alone. So I ended up with a few Prakticas, but I don't mind, because you know what the nice thing is, you can put, like in this one, a black and white film, and in this one a color film, and in another one a color film 400 ASA. So that means every time you go out to make pictures, you can decide, okay, which one should I take? What film do I take? And you know, the lens you can change. So it doesn't matter for the lens, but the body you can put in the film you like, and then if you have more bodies, you can choose between the films you want to use that day and interchange the lens, change the lens if you want. I love it, and for the price of one Olympus OM1, you have 4 to 5 complete cameras like this with beautiful lenses. Also, this one performs beautifully on a digital camera. There is a wide variety of lenses to buy: zoom lenses, telelens, wide-angle, fisheye lenses, you name it, they have it. So I think, as well as for beginners, as for more advanced photographers, it's a beautiful brand, it's a beautiful camera. Many people think, well, say it's not a beginner's camera, and I think, why not? You have a light meter, you know, even a monkey. You can learn a monkey how to operate the light meter and learn how to read the light meter and what to do. So I think this is, for a beginner, a super camera, because as a beginner it keeps the thing simple and you can overview it very easily. And for a beginner, it's also very nice that you can buy, you know, now and then a different lens. Not for a few hundred euros, but for 20, 30 euros some new lens. And for more advanced photographers, it is nice that you can operate this fully manually. If the indicated shutter speed is 1/60 of a second, and you for one reason want to have 1/30 of a second, you can choose it and the camera does it. So also for more advanced photographers, it gives you a lot of freedom in your creative development. Now, of course, the lenses, they all have a screw mount inside, so you can put filters on it. In here you also have the same as the other, this one, to rewind the film, and that you do, of course, with what's basically most cameras like this. You turn it backwards. The image through the viewfinder is big and bright, pretty bright. So yes, I came to a Praktica by accident, because I have another camera with a M42 mount, and I wanted to buy a lens, a wide-angle also, and they were pretty expensive. And then I bought a Praktica with a wide-angle lens, just in my mind to use the lens on the other camera. It's a Chinon. But while using this camera, I fell a little bit in love with it. So cheap, you know, 30 euros, 25 euros. For 25 euros you can have a beautiful MTL3, beautiful working camera. For that price, you know, it's beautiful, and it's purely mechanic. You feel it, it's heavy, you have something in your hand, and actually I can't stop looking at them. And it's also fun to do some experiments with different leatherette. You know, if you fail, it doesn't matter, because, you know, it's a cheap camera, cheap to buy, not in quality, certainly not in quality. Beautiful cameras. Well, I hope I've informed you. Well, most of you know everything about Prakticas, of course, but you know, if you want to know just a little bit more on prices and the possibilities with these cameras, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please list them below the video and I will answer them as soon as possible. Thank you very much.